Right now, it seems like you don't have time for anything, but the reality is you have far more time than you think. You're just not using that time effectively. All of these projects and side quests that you want to take on, but you just don't have time for, well, by the end of this video, you're going to need a new excuse for why you're not doing them. These tactics I'm about to share with you in this video have given me the time back to become a full-time entrepreneur, run 8 marathons in 8 months, spend 4 hours a day learning Spanish for over 150 days, and get in the best shape of my life. So let's get your time back. First of all, we need to clear out the weeds. This is the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest thing that you can do straight away to get your time back. Think about your life. Think about the way that you spend your time like a garden. If we want to put in these projects like running marathons, like building businesses, like learning languages, like traveling the world, these are little plants, these are little flowers we want in our garden. But right now our garden is full of weeds. It's full of these weeds, and if we plant flowers, if we plant trees, all that's going to happen is the weeds are going to suffocate and kill them. The weeds are the things that are destroying our time, taking our attention, and not giving us the time and attention that we need to build and develop these goals. So first thing we need to do is kill the weeds. So what are the weeds? Well, generally the weeds are put into 4 little buckets here. These are the weeds that are taking up most of our time, that are very, very easy for us to get rid of if we're intentional about it. So these weeds would be, first of all, social media. Spending time on social media, just scrolling, wasting a crazy amount of time doing that. Secondly, we would have binge watching, whether that's binge watching TV shows like Netflix, watching movies, or binge watching a bunch of YouTube videos like you might be doing right now. Next one would be gaming. If you're someone who's playing a bunch of video games, huge time suck, big weed. Last one, and the worst one in my opinion, scrolling. If you're someone scrolling TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, that is another huge weed. And if we want to have this amazing garden, we need to make the soil strong and fertile, and removing these weeds is going to be a huge place to start. When we look closely into how much time we're genuinely spending doing this stuff, what you'll find is within these 4 buckets combined, you're spending at least 1,000 hours a year doing this stuff. 1,000 hours. What could you do if you had 1,000 hours to reallocate into your business, or reallocate into working out, into running marathons, into learning a new language? Well, I can tell you right now, if you put it into learning a new language, you would become fluent in a new language. What would you rather? Be good at scrolling your phone, or have a new language under your belt? I mean, I think I know which one I would prefer, but when we look objectively about how we're actually spending our time, we can realize, okay, there are some big holes here, some big holes that we're just leaking our time into, that if we can plug up, we can get a huge amount of time back. Now, this is easy to say and hard to do because these things feel so good, and because they're so easy, our brain latches onto them. It goes, I want to keep doing these things because these things feel amazing and they're so easy. So if you decide, you know what, scrolling is terrible and I'm losing 1,000 hours a year to it, let me just stop. What's going to happen? Well, you might stop for a few hours, maybe a day, maybe a week if you're David Goggins, but then you're going to go back to your old ways because this is so deeply rooted into your reward system, into what your brain craves and wants to do, that it's a very hard thing to remove. It's too hard of a habit to just remove by saying you're going to stop and just relying on willpower. Now, it's a bit outside of the scope of this video to tell you exactly how you remove these habits without relying willpower. That's why I created the Modern Monk community, which you can join for free, where I show you how to remove any online entertainment without requiring willpower. So I'll leave a link in the description below for that. This is absolutely the most vital place to start, getting rid of the destructive, bad activities that we're doing to unlock all this time back to actually take on things that genuinely matter. But the next thing is taking this one step further and implementing maximum leverage. We want to think about ourselves as the CEO of our lives, taking on CEO tasks. Think about Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is not the person sitting in the construction line making fidget spinners or making kettles, right? Jeff Bezos isn't the person on the emails responding to customer complaints. Jeff Bezos isn't the person knocking on your door to deliver you the Amazon package. Jeff Bezos is the person sitting there making the big decisions, making the things that genuinely matter. And Jeff Bezos, just like most people who accomplish really big things, understands leverage really well. So the way I think about leverage is I think about implementing it through these 4 tiers. At the very top tier of leverage, we have delete. Now, these aren't my words, these are Elon Musk's words, and Love him or hate him, he understands more about leverage than any one of us. What he said is that if you're not occasionally adding things back in, then you're not deleting enough. What does he mean by that? He means that you should delete, you should get rid, you should remove as much as possible, so what you're left with is the things that actually matter. We're trying to optimize and perfect things that shouldn't even exist in the first place. The first step is really questioning, should this be in my life? Really ask yourself the question, what would happen if I got rid of this? What would happen if I removed this from my life completely? I take us all the way back to the garden. I take us back to the weeds. Really think about each one of those weeds. Do I need any one of these in my life? What would happen if I got rid of them? And the reality is that the cons, the things that you lose out, the things that you miss out on when you remove these, do not even come close to the pros of getting these out of your life, the time you get back, the attention, the focus, all of these things. So you think, okay, I can absolutely delete those things. But there's also meaningless, stupid, useless activities that we're doing that aren't really moving us forward at all, that we can just get rid of completely. Now, at the start of last year, I decided to take on a monk mode project where I would essentially work out every single day. I would have to eat clean every day. I would not be able to use any form of online entertainment, anything like that. And one of the things I was doing at that time is I was just gymming. I was just trying to get really jacked. And because I had to work out every day, it meant I had to go to the gym every day. And I really thought about it and I thought, okay, if I stopped going to the gym every day, if I dropped from 7 days a week down to 4 days a week, would I get any less jacked? And the reality was, no, it would be basically the same. So what I did is I cut my gym days down from 7 days a week down to 4, and then I added in running. I started running 3 days a week, and fast forward 1 year, I've run 8 marathons in 8 months, right? I never would have run in the first place if I had have decided to gym every single day. But guess what? I was able to get in the best shape of my life with the gymming, and I was able to run 8 marathons in 8 months. I was able to do these both at the same time because I deleted the things that were not necessary. I deleted the things that were not required. So really think and question, what do I have in my life right now that I don't need? Because your two most valuable assets, your two most valuable resources are your time and attention. And if you're using these poorly, then you're not going to get the returns that you're really looking for. And deleting, removing is so important. That's why the very first step was to get rid of the weeds, because deleting and getting things out of your life is absolutely the most important thing. Now, the second thing here is we need to delegate. If we can't delete it, if it has to be in our life, then the second thing is, can we delegate this? Can we get this off our hands? Do I personally need to be doing this? Now, a good example for me was the YouTube thumbnails. Now, recently, as of a few weeks ago, I realized, okay, I don't personally need to be making YouTube thumbnails. This is taking me quite a bit of time, and to be honest, I'm not very good at them. So I thought, okay, can someone else do this for me? Can I get all of my time back and give this to someone else? This was a very, very easy trade for me because not only could I give it to someone else and get it off my hands, but they were also better at it than me, which was just a double win really. But how many things can we get off our hands? How many things don't really matter if we do it or someone else does it? Because if someone else does it, you have more time back and you now have more time to do the things that you want to do, to take on those projects, to take on those side quests, to do the things that genuinely matter. So delegating is really important. Now, if you can't delete it completely, if you can't delegate it to someone else, then can you batch it? Do you need to be doing this thing every single day? Or can you do this once and then not think about it for a week or not think about it for a month? Very, very easy example here is meal prepping, right? Do I need to cook every single day? Do I need to go to the shops every day or every couple days? Not really. No, actually, I don't need to do that at all. I remember, well, this was only a few months ago, but I realized, okay, I eat this meal every day. Can I just make 2 months worth of this? It was essentially a rice meal, a micronutrient rice. So it had a huge amount of my daily micronutrients in it. And I thought, no, I don't need to cook this every day. I don't need to cook this every week. And I just cooked 2 months worth. And now I no longer spend time and I no longer spend attention on that part of my food, on those meals. It's just one less thing that I spend time doing, which now gives me time back to do the things that I want to do. Things like the language learning, things like the running, things like working on my business, things that are more high impact. So if you genuinely have to do these, can you do these all at once? Or do you have to do them one at a time, right? Right now I'm recording a YouTube video. Now, I'm not just going to record one video. I might record 2 or 3. I'm not going to do these one off because they don't need to be done one off. These can be batched. And when you batch them, you're in the flow, you're in the state of doing one individual task, and allows you to go deep and get great focus on it rather than always switching around and doing different tasks all the time. So there's a lot of great benefits to batching, but if you can't delete it, if you can't delegate it, then batch it. And if you can't batch it, then finally you're going to have to do it. Finally, you're going to actually do the task. Now, there's some pretty obvious examples of this. You might need to work out every day, right? If that's what you want to do, or every few days, right? Jeff Bezos got pretty jacked pretty recently. Now, could he get someone else to lift for him? No. Could he stop lifting? Well, no, unless he didn't want to get jacked. Okay, could he batch it? Could he do 4 workouts in one day? No, he can't. He has to do this at whatever frequency he wants to do it, but the point is he has to do it. That is finally when you do something. So if you can't delete, if you can't delegate, if you can't batch, and you absolutely have to do a task, then this is where we get into the third point, and that is taking on high impact activities. If you're someone who goes, okay, I want to get really jacked. I'm going to eat organic food. I'm going to eat grass-fed meats. I'm going to take multivitamins every day. But you don't work out, and you don't sleep properly, and you don't eat enough protein, you're not going to get jacked. However, if you ate properly, if you slept properly, and if you worked out, but you didn't eat organic food, you didn't eat grass-fed, you didn't take multivitamins, you will get jacked. Because these are the high impact activities, the big needle movers that genuinely matter. And these are just the things that we think matter. The things that are just marketing. They're just, oh, this is going to change everything, but they don't make a difference whatsoever. And this is where you really get the huge returns. When you combine dopamine rewiring, clearing out the weeds, and getting all of your time back with taking on high impact activities, this is where you make lifetimes of progress in years. To understand this, we want to understand the 80-20 principle. And this is the idea of doing the 20% of actions that give us 80% of the results and ignoring the 80% of actions that give us 20% of results. If you decide, okay, I just want to be good at one thing, I just want to do one thing, and that's it, then sure, do everything. But if you're someone who goes, I want to have a business, and I want to run marathons, and I want to get jacked, and I want to learn multiple languages, guess what? You can't do everything. There is a finite amount of time in the day, and you have to be able to allocate your time to the activities that genuinely matter. Now we have all our time back. We have to allocate the time to the things that really move the needle and really push us forward. Now, this is going to completely depend on what your objectives are. What are the quests? What are the side quests? Very easy. We have ChatGPT now. Ask ChatGPT, what are the 80-20s? What are the big needle movers for my actions, for my activities, for my goals that I'm trying to do? We need to figure out what these actions are, and these are the things that we have to do. If you're trying to have multiple goals, multiple things going on in your life, you're trying to not be a unidimensional person, then you have to do the 80-20s. And you have to ignore the rest. Because if you're trying to optimize and you try to overanalyze everything, then you're going to get stuck in the weeds and you're going to create more weeds. You're going to create more useless activities, useless actions that are not going to move you forward whatsoever. There's a reason that I've been able to run 8 marathons in 8 months and only run 3 days a week. There's a reason I've been able to get in the best shape of my life while only spending, 5 hours a week in the gym. It's because I do the needle movers, the things that really matter, the things that really push you forward, rather than worrying about these tiny little things that don't make a difference whatsoever. You're really stepping over $100 bills to pick up little pennies when we're doing most of these silly activities. So if we can implement all of these things, if we can first of all clear out the weeds, get rid of the lowest ROI activities, the destructive behaviors, the things like scrolling, things like binge watching, things like social media and gaming. If we can then go through the tiers of leverage, delete things, delegate things, batch things, and then finally do them. And if we do them, take on the 80-20 activities that are going to genuinely move the needle and push you forward. This is how you can make lifetimes of progress in years. And this is how you can make time to do everything, to have multiple goals. People will think you have a time machine because you're able to allocate your time so effectively to the things that genuinely matter. So that's how you get your time back. Now you have your time back. Now you can focus on the big tasks that genuinely make a difference. Now you can make lifetimes of progress in years. So I hope you found this video interesting and valuable. If you did, there's a video right here that you'll also find interesting and valuable. So I'll see you there.